The point is...
Moment 1. Reactions to the idea of teaching the LARAMIE Project. This feels tenuous and hard already, and we haven't even begun.
An associate principal when approached about permission to show appropriate clips from the film.
If Matthew's last name isn't Laramie, then why is it called the LARAMIE Project?
The partner of one of the teachers who agreed to teach the LARAMIE Project to his high school students.
You're going to lose your job if you show that to your students.
A school administrator.
You cannot allow students to read this material aloud.
A parent of a 10th grader in Georgia.
I do not believe politically heavy topics like this are appropriate or necessary for children this age.
Another parent.
Why use the story of an event, the details of which are now in dispute, to study a principle, tolerance, which may or may not have been a factor in the true events of the story?
The head of language arts for the county.
Why do you want to teach this play at this time?
Community college students in Clarkston, Georgia.
Before we actually read the play, I was kind of iffy on reading it.
Before reading the LARAMIE Project, I remember vaguely hearing about Matthew Shepard and the attention surrounding his death.
Toby Emmerich, the professor who asked teachers to consider using the play in their classrooms.
Have I asked these teachers to do something that's too dangerous for them? Politically, I mean. Am I asking them to do something that's problematic for their relationships with their chairs, their administrators, the parents of their students? It's interesting. I'm not at all worried about their relationships with their students. I trust that the students will know what to do with the text. They'll respond in whatever way they do, and I trust that the teachers will know how to talk back to them, regardless of the response.
Moment 2. It's almost too personal. Sorry if I sound heartless or whatever.
The LARAMIE Project was an okay book or play or whatever. I liked it because it was short, but I read it to read it, so I didn't really care about it too much. And to be honest, I basically skimmed the book. Or not really skimmed, but didn't really read it to remember any details or anything.
Ole Miss jocks don't get why yelling fag during the LARAMIE Project is bad.
A headline from a recent news story about an incident at the University of Mississippi.
October 4th, 2013.
The Atlantic Wire.
In 3 days, it will mark 15 years since police officer Reggie Flutie found Matthew Shepard tortured and hung on a fence and left to die. At a retelling of Shepard's story on Tuesday night at Ole Miss, a group of the school's athletes decided to yell out fag and heckle the performers. After being punished, the athletes did not seem to understand what they were apologizing for.
The Daily Mississippian, the student newspaper at the University of Mississippi.
The football players were asked by the athletics department to apologize to the cast.
Ole Miss Theater Department Chair Renee Pullman said,
However, I'm not sure the players truly understood what they were apologizing for. The football player's apology, which was given by one undisclosed football player on behalf of the entire group, caused 2 cast members to cry.
Incidents like this one make you question Shepard's legacy and whether we all have done enough to make sure that no one forgets what this young gay man went through before he died. Maybe there are places in schools where we haven't.
I knew I wanted to teach the LARAMIE Project to my AP Literature students, particularly since I taught several gay and transgender students in my class last year. I want them to see themselves in the curriculum, but I'm also afraid. Does the one play about a gay person in our class have to be about someone who is murdered? What kind of hope will this play give them?
Nikki Bush, Duluth High School, Duluth, Georgia.
People have been creating divisions among themselves since time immemorial.
That's the way the world is. For without evil, how can there be good?
Student voices.
I have been on both sides of the spectrum, having been a bully and the bullied. Being bullied is a terrible experience, but looking back, being a bully is worse. Now that I am older, I feel sorry for all the kids I mocked throughout the years, making them feel just as bad as I did when I was being bullied, maybe even worse. I often bullied the kids that were already being bullied to aggrandize myself.
Although I am a bit homophobic, this book is very interesting to me, and I have no problem with reading it. Of all my classmates' posts, I'd have to agree with Parker the most. We do sometimes pretend to care more than we actually do, because of the emotions the media and text bring out. But we continue to live our lives with the same mindset and selfishness that is naturally engraved in humans. Hate crimes are very common all throughout the world, but this one is one of the few that I'm actually studying. I love this assignment, and it makes me so much more comfortable with my peers.
I am very upset this event even occurred, but I do not think it needed as much media attention. Other people died around that time, but the story everyone wanted was Matthew's. Then again, why did it take 10 to 11 years for legislation to be passed to protect the rights of LGBTs?
One thing that the Laramie Project did was expose, in part, how the media abused the citizens of Laramie to sell news stories, to make Matthew out to be an angel. But by dehumanizing him, they took away his personality. Even though Matthew may not have wanted to be a martyr, he became one anyway, and that kind of sucks. The media forgot about the things that made him a person. The media forgot about the things that made Laramie a home.
Being closed-minded isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, we all are in some way, and sometimes it can be purposeful because of the things we have experienced, witnessed, or believe. I think that is part of the reason class discussion is so difficult. It's almost too personal, at least to me.
The world has been filled with hate for centuries, but it does not mean it cannot change. After reading the Laramie Project, it has been brought to my attention just how deep the hatred lies, but that it is slowly subsiding.
A 10th grader in Milton, Georgia.
For students like me, the message is to never give up on hope.
To never give up on hope. To never give up on hope.
It is our job to protect and inspire to become better people if we are to move forward into the future. Moment 3, draw your own conclusions.
October 6, 2013.
Rachel Martin, NPR reporter.
Today marks 15 years since Matthew Shepard was brutally attacked. Since then, his death has been a powerful symbol of the violent consequences of hate, his memory and inspiration to many around the world. In 2009, President Obama signed into law the Hate Crimes Prevention Act, named after Matthew Shepard.
Nikki Bush, English teacher.
Teaching this book, for me, made me feel alive. I didn't back down from teaching this play, even though several teachers and administrators advised against it, fearing that I would be tarred and feathered by intolerant parents and students. Instead, my students read the play, discussed it honestly, and felt our humanity more fully than ever before. And this is why we read, to be better, more compassionate humans.
Community college student in Clarkston, Georgia.
I was very young when this happened to Matthew Shepard, so I was not very educated about the event. Since we started, my eyes have really been open as well as my heart. This play made me want to be a more kind and aware person who loves with an open mind and heart.
Ryan Bedingfield, English teacher at Tucker High School in Tucker, Georgia.
The Matthew Shepard murder became symbolic for gay people, gay rights advocates, human rights advocates, or even just people who care a great deal about how other people get treated. I'll go ahead and confess, I'm one of those people. I deliberately try to teach books that I think might encourage my students to have conversations about things I think are important or to consider some of their own beliefs and biases. I actually think literature and conversations are solutions to some of life's problems.
Duluth High School student.
The point is, put all this together for yourself. Draw your own conclusions. This compilation of info has been put in front of you, but now you need to piece together a puzzle that makes sense to you. A masterful play is one that can evoke different thoughts among a wide range of people, and the Laramie Project obviously did that.
Community college student in Clarkston, Georgia.
After reading it, I'm glad I did.